Good morning and welcome back to Withrow Urban Homestead. Today is April 3rd and it's time to work in the garden. It is a cold, misty day, so let's see what I'm able to film. The priority this morning is to start sheet mulching along the fence. Can you see all the weeds that are popping up? I've harvested some of these, which are mint because I want to block this area to block the morning glories. They're starting to sprout. Today is recycling, so I went out early this morning in the dark and collected cardboard near the house. It's ready to go, but first let's feed the birds and the squirrels. It was also misting yesterday and I couldn't film, but I finished thinning the strawberries. They look good. Later we'll check the alley to see if there's any left. These strawberries look good too. I planted the extra strawberries here in the green stalk planters. Last year I didn't protect these planters, so most of my strawberries died. Because they're not in full sun, I grow them here mainly for greenery. Cardboard is a free, sustainable way to control weeds and hold in moisture in the garden. So there's less weeding and less watering in the summer. We're going to leave this pile here for now because first we need to go back to the garden and dig up as much of the morning glory roots as possible. Yesterday I finished sheet mulching with cardboard here in the front garden and topping it with mulch. Then I went down to the memorial garden to plant snapdragons. I had 2 left, so I planted them here in the porch pots. Looks good. Here in the front, I'm going to plant hot peppers, maybe okra, but definitely sunflowers. And I want to order some bunting to put along these stakes. This rain barrel is full. If you watched our most recent video about setting up rain barrels, let me tell you about a mistake not to make. When we had a new roof put on the house, we had them install a rainwater diverter, and I guess they didn't have experience and they set it too low. It needs to be high enough to be able to put a bucket underneath and to increase the pressure. I didn't notice it until later, and it wasn't worth them coming back and fixing it. So I just installed a hand pump, and it works. I hate to bother the birds, but I need to take this chance to get working because it's the beginning of spring break and the neighbors are home for a week, and I want to respect their privacy and not catch them on camera. But since it's misting, I'm out here alone. First, though, let's check on the strawberries and water our seedlings. There's 7 strawberries left. While I was harvesting the mint, I noticed some of our old raspberry roots had sprouted. So I want to dig those up and pot them up and put them out here later. I also need to set up more heat mats and lights because soon I need to sow eggplant, peppers, and tomatoes. Those raspberry shoots, they're just babies. They'll grow and fruit in the fall and then next year again in the spring. I'm not worried about those. But the second weed, those are the morning glories, my number one enemy. And third was the mint. Covering those with cardboard will get them under control. Now I'll make sure to go through those raspberry roots to make sure there's not any morning glory roots mixed in. I'll pot them up and I want to see if they survive before I give them away. I want to make sure they're viable. So let's dig up a few more, then get to weeding. We're going to leave those in the garage so the squirrels can't dig in that bucket. Now in the fall, I planted new dwarf raspberries and blackberries because I want to be able to cover them and protect them from the birds. The old berry plants, raspberries were near the house and blackberries were closer to the garage. And when I planted the new dwarf plants, I reversed that. So I know when roots come up, if they're the old plants or the newer plants, because the roots from these newer plants will also spread. My goal is not to eliminate the morning glories, but to cut down on them. The worst area is here along the fence. I forked it all up. Now let's go in the garage, watch the birds, and rest for a little bit. Now these are native morning glories, meaning they will come back. There is a whole network of roots in this garden. One year I dug down 6 feet deep and they still came back. Laying cardboard in the fall is better at keeping them under control. Worms love my garden. And a big reason is because I use the no-till method. I lay down cardboard every year and top with new mulch, and that makes rich soil, and the worms love it. If you till, it breaks down the soil structure. And these morning glory roots, they're like starfish. If I till and it chops them up, they're going to grow a new plant from each piece. Now I want to show you how much soil I've built. My garden is about 1 foot taller than my neighbor's. Now, I've never brought in soil to this garden. I've just built it from cardboard and mulch every year, chopping and dropping old plants, and spreading my compost pile. The bucket is full. I need to take a break, but first let me show you a blackberry root. I don't plan to save them because I really didn't like that variety. I found them bitter and the fruit sunburned easily. It's just a small area, but that bucket is full. The roots are the worst along the fence because for 6 years there was a high trellis in front of it and a narrow space behind, and it made it hard to sheet mulch. But the new dwarf berries I planted closer to the sidewalk, so I have more room to work behind them. I'm going to pour those roots into the trash instead of the compost because they will survive. Then I'm going to take a break in the garage and watch the birds more. If the neighbors show up because it stopped misting, we'll move and work at the table sowing seeds because that's more private. But first, let's go in the house and brew up some of that mint tea to help me warm up. I want to go ahead and cover this small area we finished with cardboard, but make sure any gaps in your cardboard, you block them because weeds are going to grow through. I'm going to pin this in place because I don't have the mulch for this area yet. Normally, I would place the pins right at the edge of the cardboard, but at the base of this fence, there is concrete, so I have to pin them a little bit away from the fence. When I have mulch on there later, it'll help hold that area down. I was able to get a pin in that area right there. Later, I'll sheet mulch all the way around all of these berries. But the priority right now is this fence line. So let me get back to digging. I got a little bit more done, but Dale has arrived with our lunch. So thank you for visiting Withrow Urban Homestead. See you later. Bye-bye.